Hi, it's Evan Pagan again. And here in this second of our series of videos, we're learning how to dramatically increase our productivity. In our first video, I talked about a time in my life when I would check email last thing before bed at night and then roll out of bed and check email first thing in the morning and get completely swept up into what other people wanted me to do for the day. And we also talked about how the shift to identifying my highest value activities and then prioritizing them first and then creating positive habits changed everything. Now that we've done our exercise in the first video and identified the high value activities to do in your business, the ones that make you the most profit, the most income, and the most money, and we've identified the activities that basically waste your time, we need to do something about it. Okay? We actually need to do those high value activities. And by the way, if you haven't watched that first video, I recommend that you watch it quickly before going through this one because it will make this one a lot more valuable to you. Now, productivity, the idea of productivity and the methods of productivity, they're unexpectedly powerful. In most areas of life, the most you can hope to improve things is maybe 10 or 20%. Okay, so let's say you buy a new car. How much better mileage will you get? Okay, maybe 10 or 20% better? Let's say you buy a new computer. How much faster will you be able to actually do your work on that computer? Okay, maybe 10%, 20% if you're lucky. Let's say you buy a new mobile phone that's got a camera in it. Okay, how much better are your pictures going to be that come out of it? Maybe 10 or 20%. Right? Let's say you buy your groceries at a different grocery store. Okay, how much will you save? Maybe 10% or maybe save 20%. Let's say you move your savings account from one bank to another bank. How much more interest will you make on your savings? Okay, maybe 10 or 20%, again, if you're lucky. But productivity is one of those incredibly rare areas in life where you can literally multiply, okay, not 10% or 20%, but 100% or 200% or even 1,000% improvement. Now, because we're so used to only being able to make small differences when we improve an area of our lives, we don't expect there to be areas where we can do double or triple or 10 times, and we especially don't expect it to be right in front of us the whole time. But this is the nature of productivity. Okay? It's deceptively powerful. It's very counterintuitive. Let me give you an example. So for example, in your business, it's more valuable to work on your product and your marketing than almost anything else. Okay? To do a focused hour or two talking to customers, understanding their needs, and then using what you learn to improve your product or service and improve your marketing so you get more customers in the long run. I'm pretty well known for pioneering many of the methods that people use to market things online. I've now sold over $100 million worth of my products and my training programs, and I can tell you from a lot of experience that if I'm not sure what to focus on, I know that investing my attention and time in improving or creating a product and improving or creating and testing my marketing is the way to go. Why? Because your product and your marketing, together they form the engine of the economic machine called your business. Your product or service is what people buy from you, and your marketing is how you attract paying customers and communicate the powerful benefits that your product or service offers. Creating a better product or service and working on your marketing not only bring you a bigger return on your time and effort, they keep paying you into the future. Okay, these are at the top of the productivity pyramid that we learned about in the first video. These are worth multiple times, 10 times, maybe even 100 times the value of doing something ordinary, like checking mail or running errands or reading the news. Okay, it's a big difference. It's not 10 or 20%. Again, maybe 100% to 1,000% or even more. If you're currently working for a business and you don't have your own business yet, and you want to move up in that business, this will probably change the game even more for you because the company you work for usually doesn't have their team members come in one day and say, you know, I was thinking about it and I've realized that this company needs to focus more on our products and our marketing if we want to grow and make more money, and that's what I want to work on. And if you walk in and do that, you can probably get a raise and a better role in your company faster than just about any other way. Here's an example on the personal side. Okay, I call it deep rejuvenation. It's actually better to completely unplug and relax, okay, and do some deep rejuvenation than it is to do most things with your spare time or your discretionary time. Okay? Why? How could kicking back be more valuable? Well, rejuvenation is actually the fuel or the basic building block of energetic focus, okay, of the flow state itself. No rejuvenation, no energy. No energy, no focus, and no focus, no flow state, and no productivity. If you invest 30 minutes doing deep rejuvenation and relaxation, okay, whether it's going for a walk or doing a meditation or some yoga, it gives you back your energy and your focus for the next couple of hours in your business. And again, it doesn't pay you back 10% or 20%. It pays you back 100% or 200% or 1,000%. Again, counterintuitive, but obvious once you know about it, right? So why don't we do it? Well, there are many reasons. One, we don't feel like we deserve it. We don't feel like we deserve to take the time to ourselves, or we feel like we would be being lazy or unproductive, ironically. But if you're going to win in the long run, okay, and have the life and income you want, then you can't skip this one. The point is that productivity is very powerful, okay? Now here's a model for you. You're 10 times as productive when you're doing your highest value activities in focused, uninterrupted blocks of time. Okay, as a general rule of thumb, you're 10 times as productive. That means for every hour that you invest, you get 10 times more back when you're doing your high value activities. And if you do the math, this means if you just spend 20% of your time doing your highest value work, that's 10 times as valuable, you can double your productivity. Now, one of the challenges that we run into when we're working to be productive is the challenge of multitasking or switching tasks. And it turns out that task switching is very inefficient, but we all do it unconsciously, right? So task switching is inefficient. This is why distractions and interruptions cost you so much. I read an interesting piece of research that if you're interrupted, okay, you're working on something, you're interrupted, it takes about 20 minutes to get back to where you were before you were interrupted when you start again. Okay, so you get interrupted, you go do the interruption, and then you come back. Okay, you have to take 20 minutes just to get back to the place where you left off, okay, to get back organized, get into the focus, get into the flow. So it makes sense if you just think about it. If you're interrupted every 20 minutes, okay, during the day, you'll end the day having gotten nothing productive done. Okay, have you ever had that happen where you get interrupted all day and you're busy but you don't get anything done? Okay, it sucks. So imagine driving, for example, from one big city to another, like maybe driving from New York to Boston or from Los Angeles to San Francisco. Okay, what if you decided to stop at every single exit as you were making the trip? Okay, what would that do to your productivity on the journey? Okay, how much longer would it take you to get there? Okay, exactly. It would be like trying to go for a run inside of a building that had closed doors every 10 feet. And you had to stop and open the door and then run, and then stop and open the door and run. Okay, it just doesn't work. One of the natural forces that helps create a successful business and a successful life is momentum. Once you build up speed, you don't want to interrupt it. You don't want to pull off on another exit on the freeway and get off track. And remember, if you're interrupted, it takes you about 20 minutes just to get back to where you were when you were interrupted once you start again. Okay, very expensive. Now, one of the biggest insights that I got when I was studying productivity is from Peter Drucker. Okay, he's the famous management guru, probably the most famous business management guru of all time. He wrote a great book called The Effective Executive. And in that book, he shared one idea that was powerful. He said to work in focused, uninterrupted blocks of time, working on your highest value producing tasks. Okay, focused, uninterrupted blocks of time, working on the highest value producing tasks. Now, if you do that, what you find is your productivity goes way up, because when you do those productivity enhancing, those value building tasks, what happens is you start to get the payoffs. Okay, they start building up over time, they really start accruing, and you start building the habits. It's very powerful to work in focused, uninterrupted blocks of time. So first, we have to focus on eliminating distractions and interruptions. And here are a couple of tips for doing that. The first technique I call scheduling your interruptions. Okay, so this sounds counterintuitive, but it's simple. What you do is you set aside a couple of times every day, and you tell people, these are the times when you call me or email if you need a quick response. So maybe you set aside 30 to 60 minutes kind of in the middle of the day, and maybe 30 to 60 minutes later in the day. And this is when you're available to take calls, to do meetings, to maybe check your mail, to get back to people quickly. Now, I've actually turned this into kind of an art, and I've made it so when you call my voicemail, I say in the voicemail, I don't check voicemail very often. Best way to reach me is to send me an email. I check this every day or two, and in fact, someone else checks it and they transcribe what it says, and then they send me the information. Okay, to set the expectation that I'm not easy to reach, because what I'm trying to do is not program people to interrupt me. Okay, another tip here is don't respond to emails and text messages and other things. Don't respond to them immediately. Okay, because if you respond to them immediately, you get people in the habit of thinking that they're going to get a response quickly, and then that programs you to respond quickly, and people use a tone that gets you to respond quickly, and it creates a really unproductive system in your life. Okay, so don't respond to emails and other messages immediately. Another technique I call enlightened multitasking. Okay, so we all have to multitask. There are just times where you have to make a call, and then you have to check your email, and then you have to write a message, and then you have to do a quick meeting with someone, and then you have to talk to a few people about something, and then do a little bit of research. We all have to do that right now in this modern day and age. What we don't want to do is do that all the time. We want to invest most of our time doing focused blocks of uninterrupted time, and just like rejuvenation builds us up the kind of energy and the power to do the focus, when you do enlightened multitasking, or you take all of your multitasking activities and you condense them into a couple of sessions a day, you set yourself up so that you can focus. Okay, so again, do a couple of sessions a day, maybe 30 minutes or so of multitasking. But here's the key. You need to plan them in advance. Okay, plan them in advance. Maybe one of them kind of middle of the day and one of them toward the end of the day, around the same times as you're scheduling your interruptions. Now, the mindset of taking control of things, like interruptions and multitasking, that used to occur to your mind and emotions as being out of your control, okay, this is very powerful for building self-esteem, okay, for building your confidence in your ability to do this stuff in the future. Okay, so doing these two things is really critical. Okay, the scheduling the interruptions and the enlightened multitasking, they can really change the game and free up more time for you to focus. Now I'd like to introduce you to something that I call the 60-60-30 solution. Now, as humans, all right, we have to manage a lot of different layers of needs. Okay, we have to drink water regularly to keep our body hydrated and clean. Okay, our bodies are 60+% water. It needs a steady supply to keep you healthy. You have to eat food regularly to keep your blood sugar at optimal levels, to stay in the zone, right? To stay in that clear, focused flow state. You have to move your body around so you don't get stuck in a weird posture for your entire life, okay? So you have to move. And you have to keep your energy levels up in order to stay focused and again, stay in that flow state. As I was developing the Wake Up Productive methodologies, I experimented with different blocks or windows of time to see if I could get all of these things to line up. And after some experimentation, I created what I call the 60-60-30 solution. So this is basically working for two focused blocks of 60 minutes and then taking a 30-minute break. Okay, so 60-60-30. The two 60-minute chunks in a row give you that focused block of uninterrupted time to work on your highest value creating activities. Again, in two 1-hour chunks, which is long enough to get a lot done, but not so long that it feels like it's going to be boring or torture. And then the 30-minute break is timed so that you get to take advantage of the body's natural rhythm of focus and then relaxation. Okay, we have a rise in energy and then we have a dip in energy, and that's where the 30 minutes comes in. So you can do a little mini rejuvenation after you've worked so hard, and this gives your mind a break and it gives it the ability to recover its all-important willpower. It's a big mistake to try to just power through a day and not take breaks. You know, what a lot of people do is they work for a couple hours and then they start to feel tired, and instead of taking a break and relaxing and rejuvenating, they just work harder, or they eat some candy or drink some coffee, and they wind up burning themselves out. Okay, so it's natural every 90 to 120 minutes for you to experience a dip in energy, and what we want to do is honor that, and with this methodology, we're able to do that. And if you're really into this, what I recommend you do is eat a small meal, okay, every 2.5 hours through the day, so that you break up your food and you don't have that big carb crash, right, when we eat like a big meal, and then we're useless literally for a few hours. Okay, so you can You can do your 60, and then your 30. Now here are a couple of other tips. Okay, for your 60s, do 55 and 5. Okay, so do 55 minutes of focused energy and then take a quick little 5-minute break. Okay, so what you're actually doing is you're fractalizing your breaks. You're doing a little 5-minute break, okay, every couple hours, then you do your 30-minute breaks every 2 hours, and then regularly you should take entire days off and then entire weeks off. Okay, so we're fractalizing, we're doing it at multiple levels in our lives. Another tip is to use a timer. Okay, just put a timer on 55 minutes, turn everything else off, turn off your phone, turn off all your distractions, and just say, okay, I'm going to work for 55 minutes on this one thing. Now try it out. You're going to see something. It frees your mind. It's incredibly powerful. When you see the 55 minutes, you know that you can work on this thing for 55 minutes. Okay, and the time just flies by, and when you're done, you feel incredibly successful and productive. So here's another tip, right, to really take this to the next level. Do your 60-60-30 first thing. Do it early in the day. Instead of coming into your work situation and checking email and messages and getting on everyone else's agenda, finding out what they have for you, okay, instead of that, do 2 60-minute chunks working on your highest value activities. If you do just that one thing, you'll probably double your productivity. Okay, here are a couple of other little tips for you. Change channels, okay, completely. This is how we get out of the multitasking mindset. We're either in a focused state of high-value work or we're completely unplugged, relaxing, rejuvenating. Okay? And I'm talking completely. So we don't want to be kind of doing work and we don't want to be kind of rejuvenating because that robs each of them of their power. So change channels completely. Okay? Create what I call clean states. You want a clean state of focused, flow, productivity, and you want a clean state of relaxed, unplugged rejuvenation. If you work to clean up those states and really layer the things that makes each of them more powerful, you'll find that your productivity will increase dramatically. So if we can do a 60-60-30 first thing in work, and we can focus on those high-value actions, the ones we identified in our first video, and again, if you don't know what to do, work on your product and on your marketing for those first couple hours, because these will grow your business and your income the fastest. Okay, so 55-minute productivity sprint, 5-minute quick personal relaxation break, 55-minute productivity sprint, 5-minute personal relaxation break, and then take a 30-minute meal and total chill break to really drive home the importance of taking breaks. And again, don't read the news, don't check email. Okay, for that 30 minutes, just unplug and relax. Okay, great. So on this page, go ahead and download the exercise that says the 60-60-30 solution. Okay, and then what I want you to do is go through that exercise and plan out your 60-60-30 for your first 2.5 hours when you go to work. Okay, also, make sure you get a little digital timer. Okay, most mobile devices have one. Set it for 55 minutes and just say to yourself, all right, I'm gonna do this one activity for 55 minutes. And again, focus on your product and focus on your marketing in business. Give some customers a call and talk to them about your product. Get some ideas for improvements. Okay, or talk to them about what their big fears and frustrations and problems are. This way you can do much more powerful marketing. Next, go ahead and download the summary PDF that's on this page. Okay, the Wake Up Productive Tips #2. Go ahead and download that. That's got a 1-page summary of all the key bullet points that we covered in this training. Okay, and what I want you to do is go, just like we did in the last video, go put that somewhere where you'll see it last thing in the day and then first thing when you wake up, to review these points and just load them back up into your brain. In our next video, we're going to learn how to cure procrastination and how to design and create powerful habits that make it so you automatically do the high-value work that you need to do every day to reach your personal and money goals. Okay, so keep your eye out for that third video. And if you're really serious about doubling your productivity, I'm going to be opening up a new class of Wake Up Productive soon. Okay, so we can spend 90 days together, working together, eliminating distractions and interruptions, identifying the activities that make you the most successful in your life and business, and doing the highest value things in your life that bring you the biggest returns in fulfillment and income. Oh, and a quick note about Wake Up Productive. Now, even though it's a full 90-day program with in-depth trainings every week, it's not going to be priced at the typical high tuition price that you see most big launches priced at. Okay? And this is because I want everyone to be able to join me for this class. Okay? So you'll definitely want to pay attention and join when we open for registration soon. And if you haven't gotten on my email alert list yet and you want to be notified when my next free video comes out, plus get access to all kinds of other valuable business growth trainings and free videos, just click the button in the upper right corner that says subscribe and then enter your email address so I can follow up with you. So keep your eye out for our next video because it's really going to help you overcome procrastination and install habits into your life that stick. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.